I am continuing to read from this book, The Amazing Secret of Purgatory, where Sister Emmanuel interviewed Maria Simma. If you are enjoying this series and all the work that I do, I would be humbly obliged if you'd consider donating to me at Buy Me a Coffee. The link is below. Otherwise, also consider subscribing and liking. It really does help. If you can't do any of that, please, please pray for me either way. I want to do God's work. I want to be his hands and feet and win many souls for heaven. But until then, I've got work to do, and I continue reading where Sister asks, Maria, now I would like to ask you a question which might sound a little indiscreet. You've done so much for the poor souls that surely when you die in your turn, thousands of souls would be your escort into heaven. I think that you certainly will not have to pass through purgatory yourself. Maria says, I don't believe I will go straight to heaven without time in purgatory, because I have had more light, more knowledge, and therefore my faults are more serious. But all the same, I hope that the souls will help me to rise to heaven. Certainly. And Maria, do you appreciate this charism, or is it something burdensome for you, all these requests from souls? Maria says, no, I don't pay much attention to the difficulty, for I know I can help them so much. I can help many souls, and I am very happy to do this. Sister says, Maria, I would like to thank you from the heart for this beautiful testimony. But please permit me one last question. Would you be so good as to tell us a few words about your life? Maria says, well, from when I was little, I wanted to enter a convent, but my mother told me to wait until I was 20. I did not wish to get married. My mother told me a good deal about the souls in purgatory, and already at school, these souls helped me a lot. So I said to myself that I had to do everything for them. After school, I thought about entering a convent. I entered the Sisters of the Heart of Jesus, but they told me that my health was too poor to stay with them. Actually, as a child, I had pneumonia and pleurisy. The superior had confirmed my religious vocation, but advised me to enter an easier order and to wait for some years. I wanted, above all, a cloistered order and right away. But after 2 more attempts, the conclusion was the same. My health was too poor. So I said to myself that entering a convent was not God's will for me. I suffered mentally a great deal. I said to myself that the Lord had not shown me what he wanted of me. Up to the moment he entrusted me with this task for the souls in purgatory at the age of 25, he had made me wait 8 years. At home, there were 8 of us children. I worked on our farm starting at the age of 15. Then I went to Germany as a servant for a peasant family. Afterwards, I worked here in the farm at Sonntag. From the age of 25, when the souls began to come, I had much to suffer for them. Now I am much better physically, so there you are. And Sister writes that this is the end of the interview with Maria. But the next chapter begins, a few notes from Maria. And in quotation, so these are Maria's words. There is no value in complaining about the times that we live in. Parents do not help their children by responding to all their desires, by giving them everything that they want simply to keep them happy so that they don't have to listen to them yelling. Pride can take root in this way in the heart of a child. Later on, when the child starts school, he neither knows how to recite an Our Father nor how to make the sign of the cross. In some cases, they know nothing of God. Teach children how to make sacrifices. Why does religious indifference exist today? The moral decadence? Because children have not learned how to renounce their whims. They later on become misfits and people with no judgment, who get into all sorts of things and want to possess everything in abundance. This causes sexual deviations. This child who has not learned from its infancy to control itself becomes selfish, hard-hearted, and even tyrannical. This is why today there is so much hatred and lack of charity. Do we want to live in a better time? Let's start by educating the children. Funny, because it sounds like she was writing this in 2025. This was 20 years ago. One sins very much against love of neighbor, especially by slander and gossip, deception and calumny. Where do these sins start? In the thoughts. We must learn these things from childhood and immediately drive out any uncharitable thoughts. Battle against all uncharitable thoughts. Therefore, and one will then not judge others without charity. This mission is homework for all Catholics. Some practice it through the profession, others through good example. The preoccupation of the soul must not be extinguished by exaggerated care of the body. It was indeed a real pleasure for me to meet Maria Simma, a woman whose life is one of complete devotion. Each second, each hour of her life has a weight of eternity, not only for herself, but for so many souls, known or unknown, that she in many different ways and with so much love has helped to deliver from purgatory to enjoy the eternal happiness of heaven. While it sounds like this is the last of it, I'm going to continue to read from this book the other things that we've learned, beginning with what did the other saints have to say about purgatory. But until then, I hope you've gained much from what Maria suffered and taught, so that through her words and actions, you and I together can develop a passion for the souls in purgatory and begin to give every single piece of our suffering, every single prayer that we can muster for these poor souls, knowing that we will have an army of souls praying for us in return. And in the evil, evil world that we live, we will need all the help we can get. You've got a whole army of people waiting to help you. Let's help them first. We are brothers and sisters in Christ. When we get there, there's not going to be the them and the us. We're all going to be there equally. Same time. Let's help each other. That's the greatest love of neighbor you can practice. I'm Dr. Christine Bacon. Thanks for watching this Bacon Bit. And as always, remember to live your life sunny side up.